You're tuned in to the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla and Andrew Yagi. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
It's episode 69 of the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla and I'm a mortgage lender.
I'm Andrew Yagi. I'm a real estate agent. Kayla, how's it going this week?
It's going great. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. There's just something about, having nicer weather.
I know.
And I think just across the board from, feeling better about life and everything. And all the way to, seeing a pickup in real estate. I mean, we've had just a gangbuster week of, listing properties for clients. We actually, how much I love aviation. And so Lynette, kind of my partner here in our business, her and I buzzed down to the Twin Cities on Monday to work with actually a mutual client of yours and mine that we're working with to relocate, listed their beautiful home. Going to be actually, when we get done shooting this, be flying up to my hometown of Thief River Falls. I've got, again, some clients up there that, need some commercial help for kind of a new venture that they're getting into, and, quite a bit of local activity as well. So I think things are kind of, they're starting to heat up a little bit. And again, just the weather is awesome. I saw Eric Hatch post this the other day, and it was the Midwest versus everybody. Seasonal depression seems fake until it's above 30 and sunny in February, and it feels like a choir of angels is singing as you walk up to the gates of heaven.
It's true. Isn't it wild? Like, I was talking to someone, I think it was 10 above the other day, but when you are used to 25 below with the wind chill, it's like you can't even walk outside, and it felt like it was 80 degrees. And so when we get into these 30s and 40s, I'm seeing people in shorts, even like above zero. And it's just,
right.
I had coffee with a realtor the other day, and he had said that he and his wife had gone down to Florida. And he's like, what it does, and spent like multiple months there, like November through February. He said like the attitudes of the kids, the dogs, and their like arthritis, like everything was so much better. And I'm like, that is really cool. I'd love to hear more about that. So, I mean, it's true. It impacts us mentally, emotionally, physically, all the things.
I could see the appeal of having a place down south. And Kayla, I feel like for you and Taryn, when you get rid of or get tired of the lake cabin, I could see you having a place down in Arizona. And I mean, you can lend in all 50 states. So why not do some more business down there?
I know. And I mean, I literally can work from anywhere. And my husband probably could too. He's an accountant. He could. It's like, why not? Scottsdale sounds great this time of year. I mean, why not?
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's doing it. We have to do it.
That have fled Fargo, even our age, we're living down in the Scottsdale area. So I don't write it off.
I won't. I don't plan to, but you never know. Never say never.
So what are you, what's going on with you? You've got your boots on the ground, hitting the ground running, doing a lot of business.
Yeah, a lot of community involvement lately. I've been really busy the last couple of weeks, home and animal shelter, meeting with, financial advisors, people in our industry, just getting out and just having conversations over coffee or lattes or matcha lattes, and really just hearing the needs of people. And we've really blown up with pre-approvals. So like people getting pre-qualified before they go and start looking at homes. And Andrew, with almost every single client that I speak with, a lot of times we do video calls because it's either at night, it's over lunch hour. They don't, couples that don't necessarily want to come to my office. They just, can we talk quick? And probably lately 10 out of 10 meetings, every client says, I've never gotten this education. I have no idea what I'm doing. No one's ever talked to us. I've been approved before, but no one explained anything to me. So I'm really focusing this year and onward and upward on education, because although I don't get paid for the extra work I put into clients, clients are like, how do I pay you for this? And I'm like, you don't. There's no money here. Just like real estate agents, they don't get paid showing you homes or going the extra mile. And so when I share that the extra time I'm taking with them is for them, it's almost like, again, the stress melts off of them and they feel like taken care of. So I guess what I'm saying, Andy, long story longer, is that I'm seeing a lot of pre-approvals coming in, a lot of people that aren't approved yet, I should say. And all they want is education, and that's what they deserve. So
I think people are hungry, which is why, Kayla, we also need to hunker down and get our webinars put together that we've talked about doing, because again, I
Andy,
think that people are thirsty for knowledge, and it would also be a great way to save both of us time. And I hear the same thing. I had somebody reach out to me earlier this week. It's someone who's worked for our family for a number of years, and wanting to look at some homes, had gone to a large corporate bank to get pre-approved, got a North Dakota and a Minnesota number that were like $100,000 different. I said, "Oh, that's interesting." I said, "Why the stark difference?" "I don't have any idea," he said. Um,
Mhm.
and so here is, someone sitting in a mortgage office at a corporate bank who could care less about educating the client.
Yeah.
All they want to do is they want to get the pre-approval out, because and it was maybe it was a lower pre-approval number, so they're like, "Well, this
Mhm.
isn't worth my time. It's not a 500,000 to $1 million lake property, so I'm not going to take the time to."
Yeah, and that's what's so sad.
Yeah, it
But
is.
clients have to be hungry to take the time, because I had a client yesterday actually. They if their ratios were tight, meaning that they were at the top of their budget,
Yep.
and if they're selling their house, and I said, if you take, it was about 30,000, I think it was like $27,000, Andy. If they take that and put it towards one of their debts, it was a car, it was 700 and some bucks, you would get rid of $700 a month. If you put that towards your loan, it was changing the payment $180 or something very, very small. I can't remember the amount. I actually think it was like less than that. I'd have to do the math about what they were going to do. I can't remember if it was a 15 or 30 year, but regardless, it was hundreds of dollars difference just where they put the money. And it was like, if you do this, this frees up 700 and some dollars a month. And they're like, oh, we were just going to all put it down towards the house. And so I share that because had they not taken the time, they wouldn't know. And then they were like, oh, well, then we're comfortable going higher in a monthly payment. Well, that helps them achieve the home that they want versus a home that they're settling for. So
Mhm.
I just share that because it's just talking, every situation is different. So
Yep. Yep. No, I love that. Are you seeing, obviously there were some economic headwinds out there. There were a lot of people, I think I've read a couple of articles, you probably have too,
Yep.
talking about how, there are some concerns, with the economy and inflation, and hey, are tariffs going to be a thing? I mean, just a lot of unknowns with the government shakeup, which,
Yeah.
I've talked to people locally who have, been affected by, maybe some federal funds being frozen. And it's unfortunate, for them and their circumstance. But also, if we're uncovering massive fraud in government, I think that, hey, we're all going to have to deal with a little bit of pain for a while. But are you seeing, maybe more challenging financial situations, or worsening financial pictures in some cases, as people are coming in talking pre-approval?
I think in the last year, I haven't seen anything like substantially different, like month to month. But when I look at the last year, a lot of people are almost embarrassed. They're like, hey, I know I've got credit card debt. And I'm like, I see it on almost every client. Everyone has it. And so I do see a lot of credit card debt. But what's really great is I'm seeing a lot of people that have a home to sell and they've got a lot of equity in that home. And that's what's exciting is they can't see the money yet, right? They can't see that appreciation, that equity. But when we talk the numbers, it's like those aha moments. But I would say that in the last week, I've had about a dozen approvals, and most are approved above what they want to spend. What I'm seeing are clients that think, okay, if we think we want to buy like a $500,000 home, but when I run the payment, Andrew, especially in Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo, Horace, those specials, what I'm seeing is clients are a little shocked at the payment. So they're like, oh, I can afford the monthly payment I want, but it's not equating to the price I want. That's what I'm seeing mostly.
Sure. Interesting.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't work as much with buyers, Kayla. I
Mhm.
predominantly list homes, so and we do work with select buyers, but I think that, but equally on the listing side, I think there are challenges. We're starting to see activity pick up a little bit more, people taking a look, but again, it's still the home still needs to be appropriately priced. It needs to be desirable. If it's not, it's probably sitting out there. I have some homes that are sitting out there, and even having conversations with individuals who are selling about, hey, like this is kind of what we're seeing, what your home is worth compared to others that have sold, but they maybe have a higher price in mind. Well, some of those properties are going to sit potentially, and hey, it's their property. They can do whatever they like with it. But
Yep.
homes that are appropriately priced are moving. We actually put our spec house under contract.
You did.
12 days on the market, we put it under contract, and so we're going to look forward to closing probably in about another 3 weeks. Hopefully sooner. The appraisal's complete and the title work's done. So
Nice.
the lender and underwriter and whether the buyer wants to move it up. But that feels good.
Yeah, it does.
Call it kind of a base hit. It's not going to be out of this world profitable. You know, everything seems to cost more, and I'm sure you see it a lot
Of
with
course.
new construction projects. But hey, it's going to add a new rooftop to our community, and we learned a lot along the way, and it'll be really good.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. That's exciting. And I think too, like with the weather, right? It's starting to get warmer. We're going to see probably more people listing their homes, more pent up energy of wanting to buy a home. And I think that it's going to pick up, especially as we get into March here. What is it? The 1st is on Saturday. I think we're going to start to see, Saturday. I think we're going to start to see March pick up, in my opinion. So
I think we will too. I think there's going to be a lot of positives, but I mean, there are going to be continued economic headwinds and challenges. I mean, even I had heard from a friend last night who stopped by the grocery store and texted me and said, "Hey, I just bought a steak, cheaper than a carton of eggs."
wow.
Can you believe that? And then Kayla, I saw this as I was kind of going through some real estate stuff. No, I guess all of a sudden my window disappeared. Let me.
Oh no, you can Google it really quick, I bet.
No, my window that I had up somehow it disappeared. But
She go.
the bank asked for proof of funds.
That's what we asked for. Show me your eggs. Now, are those organic or?
Great question. It is kind of crazy, and obviously, bird flu and things at play there. But
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for you. Sorry, I'm totally going to catch you off guard here.
Sure.
And maybe should have asked you this offline. So putting you on the spot has nothing to do with real estate.
Sure.
But we were talking about, the recent, administration. We're talking about aviation. We're talking about all the things. What's happening with all the flights that are just like the one-offs? Like, do you think they're related? Do you think has anything to do with anything in particular? I know this is off topic, but I mean, Andy, you're in aviation. I have to ask you.
Yeah, well, I think people are paying more attention today, and so obviously, the DC crash really, was a kind of a showstopper. Like everyone looking and saying, "Well, we haven't had any, major crash since the Colgan Air crash, and in upstate New York and 08, 09 or whatever." So obviously that's going to get a lot of attention, and then just all of the circumstances behind that. Obviously there are things that happen all the time. There are, runway incursions, people, you throw the human factor in there, and that's why it's great to have two crew in an aircraft, which that's not always the case, but airlines and a lot of corporate stuff. A lot of the flying I do is a 2-pilot crew, and it really makes a difference when it comes to safety and the like. Obviously, some unknowns about, the jet that flipped upside down in Canada, maybe some inexperience, maybe it's hard,
Wind.
Wind played a factor. It's hard to speculate, but I don't know. I think again, we've had, a couple of back-to-back, really challenging things, and then sprinkle in some other, near misses, and people are,
it's a lot of attraction, a lot of like media.
Yeah, there is. And I think maybe, with even the administration change, some of the, the media out there and some of the things are having to maybe cover some other things and not, smear campaigns and
True.
go after individuals. So you're probably hearing about it more. We really don't want very much news at home. And just historically, it's and very challenging to work.
Yeah, I hear you. I see what you're saying. I get it. Now, if anyone's listening, they should go watch the movie Sully, because I watched that movie and it was really good. If you haven't seen it, I loved it. Anyway.
It is.
Okay.
Okay, Kayla, tell us what rates are doing this week. I feel like we've seen some improvements in rates.
We've seen a little bit of relief, a bit. I locked someone this week at 6.75 with no cost, meaning no points, didn't cost them a penny for that rate. National 30-year average as of today, if people are looking, you can see 6.78. Again, this is a national average 30-year fixed. But if you look at the FHA 30-year, it's right a little bit above 6. And, I had a client last night and they had a 671 credit score. And we were talking about rates and I was showing them what the difference was with their score and for their situation, what they're putting down when they want to buy, their interest rate for a 30-year was 7.25. So remember, this is assuming excellent credit. And I share that because when you do meet with a lender and they tell you your rate and you hear from, cousin Sarah that her rate is XYZ, well, there's a lot of factors that go into that. So rates have been a little bit more competitive. Even USDA, we locked one at 6%, like competitive. So if you're thinking about buying, again, depending where you buy and what your situation is, this is just a kind of an example. But the good news is we're seeing a slight decline. So, and North Dakota housing, we've seen pretty it's pretty steady. I haven't seen a lot of changes, but I mean, the client last night, they were over income limits. So we were looking at the Roots program. Well, the Roots program, Andy, as you can see, it's in the 8s if they want assistance. So they're like, listen, I don't want assistance that bad. I don't want 8.5. But as you can see, you can get as low as 5.45. So again, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So talk with your lender, make sure that you're getting all the, I always say kind of garbage in, garbage out, like make sure you're getting a good, accurate quote based on your scenario, because as you can see, rates can shift significantly depending on the program.
Sure. No,
yeah.
Well, I think that is a little bit comforting. I mean, again, people, last year we had higher hopes, that rates were going to come down, and we'll have to maybe in our next episode look at the Mortgage Bankers Association and look at their, kind of updated projections as far as where they think things are going. But in the same breath, Kayla, it's almost, I don't want to say worthless, but I don't know how worthwhile it is to look at it because, I mean, in opinion, it's a wild card. I mean, there could be some groundbreaking news this week, next week, whatever, something happening in government or the world, that could, create major headwinds or could, lead to improvements. We don't know what it's
never know. Like. Well, and I've got the MBA forecast up that came out February 19th. And that you see Q1 6.9, Q2 6.9, and then it goes to 6.7, 6.5. So not a lot of change throughout the year. And then in 26, a steady 6.4. And so what I challenge listeners to do is when we're talking, what does that mean, a quarter or a half? What does that mean for your payment? It all depends on the loan amount. And that's where I challenge you. If your lender's not telling you what that difference makes, have them show you whether it's $78 a month or $30 a month. Again, it just depends on that loan amount, but not a huge shift when we look in the future, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I like that. Kayla, I was looking at bank rate a little bit again, just because, 2024, we came off of what was, the most challenging year in 30 years or slowest year for sales. And Kayla, I've seen some articles floating around again, talking about how 2025 could be slower. Have you seen any news pertaining that?
Yeah, I've seen a lot. This is conference season for mortgage for our industry, maybe for you, but I'm seeing a lot of conversation. I'm having a lot of conversation of a lot of lenders, I think, are just like getting other jobs, a lot of realtors. And I think it's because they're at that point where it was like survive until 25. Well, now that we're in 25, we're a few months in. I mean, think about it. We're almost to month 3 of the year. And some people have not closed a deal this year. And so I think it is going to be harder because I don't think those rates are going anywhere. And I think that consumers are, like I said, they want that education, they want that help. And if you aren't passionate and have the time, it's going to be a difficult year for you.
I was just reading, and, I know we talked about last year, how about 49% of agents in, what was it, 2023 sold no homes. And they just kind of Inman released a report about this year. Do you know how many agents sold no homes in 24?
How many agents sold 0 homes in 2024? No, I have no idea.
Throw a number out there. Humor me a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm really good at that. How many agents are there in total?
They're like 1.5 million. So they said for 23, 49%, or roughly
Okay,
650,000
so
agents.
1.5 million agents. Sorry, I just want to get my data. Okay, and how many sold 0 homes? Is it crazy for me to say 1 million?
Yeah, I'm
Is it
looking
crazy?
for, I'm looking for a percentage, but you're
Oh,
probably right.
sorry. 75% didn't sell a home?
71% of agents
Wow, that is wild.
did not sell a home last year. And I think when they're saying
Wow.
active, they mean, ones who are actively licensed, have their Con Ed in order, and are paying their dues. So, and the report notes as well that just a third of real estate agents, well, okay, so just, out of that number, a third are active, really doing a lot. So again, we know that, the barriers to entry in real estate, or even in mortgage, Kayla, I could have my mortgage license and I could be selling for
Good.
UWM, be jumping on with somebody, but I would not be doing a good job for my clients because
Right.
I don't know all of the ins and outs. And so I look at it too, and we're going to be listing a new property for some clients that, they had listed with someone who was a close family friend. The individual sold, one property last year. Well, they
Yeah.
majorly overpriced it. They didn't have any marketing plan. They did nothing. Now the house sits unsold, and now we have a shot um, at selling it. But again, so everyone has a relationship, and hey, we love to use our relationships, but there's a cost of doing that. And again, we see it in mortgage, we see it in real estate, we see it in just about every area of life.
We do. And I think it's like, I hate to use this phrase, but I've said it before. It's like when the tide rolls out, you see who's swimming naked kind of thing. And it's not to say that people were doing a bad job or have been doing a bad job. It's just to say that there are experts in this field, and there are people so passionate about what they do in our industry. And those people are going to continue to do the business. I had heard yesterday from someone, and I could be wrong, that 90% or 10% of the agents do 90% of the business in Fargo Moorhead and probably other states and or cities. But it just makes me think like, yeah, it's not bad that you're doing a 1 or 2 off, but I think as a consumer, when you're choosing which experts to work with, it's just good to know because scenarios happen, Andy. You know it. Like things go sideways. And I always share when people are like, do I use a realtor? I said, here's the thing. Once you find the home, like that's when the work even begins more. Because whether it's a low appraisal or inspection issues or certain financing things come up, whatever it may be, it's so important you have people because your realtor just does not find you the house. That's part of what they do. Absolutely. But I have just seen such incredible agents like yourself, Andy, that take the time and really give clients this expertise and experience and peace, really. And so I think that's kind of what I always lean up to is like, it's not saying people do a bad job. I've just seen such amazing people do incredible jobs like you in this industry.
Yeah, I think that's right. And when you have one shot to do it, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
shoot for the stars and align your people,
Yep.
or align yourself, with people who are really passionate about what they do and do a great job at it.
Yep. 100%.
Mhm. Kayla, I want to leave, we've talked a lot about, predictions, the market and everything. And, Bank Rate had kind of had a lengthy article about it. And their bottom line is the continued combination of high mortgage rates, steep home prices, insufficient inventory levels point to 2025 being another tough year for buyers and sellers. However, many buyers seem to no longer be holding out for lower rates, as seen by a recent uptick in sales numbers.
What do you think of that?
I think that could be a positive for all of the pre-approval letters you've been writing.
I know, right? Let's go. It's kind of like that hurry up and wait thing. It's like we know they're approved, but it's like you do all this work, like hours and hours and hours of work to educate and get people there. It's like, but they've got to find the home and the right home. They don't want to settle either. And there are picky people too. I get that. But I mean, more inventory solves a lot of problems, I feel.
Yep. It certainly does.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
okay, well, I think that puts episode 69 of It's Real in the books.
Does it?
Thanks for the conversation.
Thank
And
you.
I hope you have a great rest of the week.
I will if you will.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.